All good?
All good, my friend. Let's do this.
Let's go. We'll just check if that's come on live and everything. Yeah, looks like I can see that. The only thing is you won't be able to read chat very well.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I'll go into chat. I've got chat on here.
Yeah, if you have it there.
Yeah, so I can read now. Alright, looks like it's, looks good.
I've got all the notifications on my phone saying that you're live. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Alright. We'll give it normal 2 minutes and then we'll go.
Love it.
I'll tweet. Have you tweeted the link out or anything?
Oh, nah.
Probably do that now. And all my homies gonna ride today.
Let me know, like 30 seconds away.
All the mics on. All right. We should be live. Can you just make sure it sounds all right? I think it should sound good, but we'll just double check that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, UFC 324. We are back. Ryan, it is good to see you, my boy. We're live
here,
in
mate.
Studio.
Episode 45.
45?
Yeah.
Beautiful. We are back. We've had 6 weeks off. I'm missing the UFC, but we are back this week finally.
What have we been doing with our lives this past 6 weeks?
What'd you do for 6 weeks?
Just TV shows, movies, more TV shows.
Yeah, maybe just talk a touch louder, just so that mic can pick you up. But
Yeah, no.
what'd you watch? Anything good?
Landman.
Yeah,
Landman was fucking sick. Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
Been watching Mad Men.
nice.
And yeah, a lot of movies. A lot of movies on Apple TV.
Yeah,
Prime Video.
yeah.
All the
Paramount?
Yeah, a bit of Paramount too.
I need to get Paramount. I haven't got it yet, but no, looking forward to it. All right, we have UFC 324 this weekend. Gaethje taking on Paddy. Pimblett in the main event. Obviously, the Harrison Nunes fight cancelled.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to that.
I was as well. Like, it just how would Nunes come back? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
After 2 years of retirement.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I was looking forward to it. It's just a great test. Like, how long have they been hyping that fight up for?
Like since she's came into the UFC.
Even before that, like when she was in the PFL, they were talking about crossover fights and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a shame that it got cancelled. But, yeah, anyway, we have a great card. Looking forward to it. UFC's back. Shall we get into things?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. So, cut to there, which looks good. And we will go bottom to top, as always. We are kicking off with Adam Fugit taking on Ty Miller. Ty Miller, UFC debut, I believe, of Contender Series.
Yep.
Prices we are dealing with. I'm just refresh this to make sure it's 100%. Ty Miller coming in at minus 425. Adam Fugit, the comeback, plus 355. I might kick this one off if that's all good. I'll start with Ty Miller. Like, I didn't hate what I saw from him on Contender Series, to be honest with you. Like, he didn't get the finish, but I was pretty impressed. Like, decent sized frame. He throws straight like really well with his punches, which even, elongates that reach even more. He throws in combination really intelligently. Like, I love when he throws his straight jab with the hook moving in. He lands that really, really well, really effectively. I think he's a little bit of a different fighter on the back foot. Like, I think he's way more hittable, but I'm just not sure we'll see Fugit like be walking him down. I kind of feel like it's probably more likely to be the other way around, where Ty Miller's the one moving forward and walking him down. I think he's probably got some grappling deficiencies, but again, he's like, is Fugit going to be the one taking advantage? I don't think so, but good to know for the future. I think Drago on Contender Series is a bit of a bum, to be honest, but Miller fought super calculated, smart. I think he showed a pretty strong striking skill set, given that it's his UFC debut here. And I really like the way his volume and finishing instinct picked up late through the 15 minutes. So all green flags for me. On to Fugit, he fights from southpaw, so that's going to lessen the importance of the lead hand, which is Miller's best weapon, but he is getting a step down after fighting Dulatov as well, for sure, who is a name that I'm not hearing people talk a lot about. Dulatov, like he could have a big year this year.
Yeah.
He could be the breakout star for the UFC, really.
I agree.
He's got everything it needs, so it's definitely a step down in competition for him. He did try and clinch Dulatov up against the fence, but he couldn't really deal with the speed and the length of Dulatov, so he's going to be at a volume disadvantage versus Miller, and Miller did get hit plenty versus Drago, so maybe Fugit could clip him, but I don't know. Overall, I kind of want to be on Miller in some facet. I'm not sure if I will get there. Definitely not from a money line perspective, but I think Fugit could like potentially weasel out a round or two with some weird grappling moments and striking exchanges. And the UFC debut is a worry, but I think Miller wins. I just can't pay the money line straight up. It's too tough at the moment. I'm looking at TKO rounds 2 or 3. I think he finishes him late, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. I really like Ty Miller's style. He marches forward, throws out a lot of volume. His style's to really just pepper you with a lot of boxing combos, and he will throw in like flying knees as he backs you up.
Yeah.
Mixes up his targets well, especially ripping to the body. He's got good awareness of range. He can be happy to eat punches in the pocket too, but he answers back right away and forces opponents to back up. With Adam Fugit, he's 3-3 in his last 6, literally win-loss, 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 coming off a round 1 knockout to Dulatov. Yeah, the UFC, they love to throw prospects at this guy.
Yeah,
Mike Malone, Morales, Dulatov, all of them beat Fugit, but Fugit's all right. He's just slow and lacks athleticism and explosiveness. But he is scrappy. He can mix it up with many weapons in his striking. He mostly kicks from distance, but has decently timed punches. Works well in the clinch and has developed some pretty decent grappling. And he has improved since joining Fight Ready. The thing is, I just don't think Fugit presents any threats or consequence other than if he can still be there fighting hard if the newcomer steps off the gas and is starting to fall off a cliff. But ultimately, I do think the volume and pressure of Miller, as well as his youth, will see Fugit being a step behind and finding it hard to get some sustained success. I think Miller is a good prospect. Don't let the lack of finishes on his record throw you. He is very skilled. But at the price we're getting him, I just don't think he's worth the juice, as he's not one of those prospects making highlight reels out of regional competition at the end of the day.
Fair.
I do think going 3 rounds multiple times opposed to quick finishes, though, will pay dividends, however. But I'm going to take Ty Miller to win this fight. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a bet on this, but I do like your round 2, round 3s.
Yeah, let's have a look. I had a look last night. It's not like, you used to getting plus 600s, plus 800s, upwards of round 2 and round 3. I don't think we're going to get that here from what I saw last night. But Fugit's kind of tough, but he does get clipped a bit. So I tend to think he gets walked down later. And I think round 1 will be close. So I don't really want to pay round 1. Miller wins in round 2 KOs, plus 460. So it's pretty low, all things considered. Miller wins by TKO is like -130, -110. You're not even getting plus money on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it might be just a pass fight overall. I kind of hope he doesn't get a knockout just so maybe next fight we can get some better odds.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. All right, up the card 2. An interesting fight.
Battle of the mids.
Battle of the mids, yeah. It's probably not a bad way to
Probably
talk.
below mid. I'd say.
We've got Ricky Tercios taking on Cameron Smotherman. Prices, we are dealing with Cam Smotherman -185, somewhere in that range to 190. Ricky Tercios, the comeback is +160-ish, somewhere in that realm. You can kick this one off, my friend.
No worries, mate. I'll start off with Ricky Tercios. He's 1-3 in his last 4. 2-fight losing streak to Bernardo Sopage and Raul Rosas. He's fundamentally not a great fighter. He has poor striking, particularly any work with his hands. And he's got a pretty good kicking game, I'd say. Like, not the best, but he is dynamic, he is fast, and he does have awkward movement. He does work hard in the clinch, and he's got solid, like, jiu-jitsu, particularly off his back. And if he can just get tangled up with you, he can make things happen. His takedowns aren't great, however. Cameron Smotherman is 1-2 in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight losing streak as well, losing to Sohei City and Ricky Simone. But he got his win on debut against Jake Hadley. He's primarily a boxer. He's patient and defensively aware, carries his hands high, constantly pressures and cuts off the cage and looks to counter. He's got a heavy focus on attacking the body and coming back to the head. He is very one-dimensional, like he's limited to boxing attacks, and he can be low volume and he can be out-volumed. So Smotherman is a pretty substantial favorite here, but I don't think at all he's worth the price. He's 1-2 in the UFC, with that win being against a very stationary target in Jake Hadley. And Tercios, he may be a shit fighter in my opinion, but he at the very least is not a stationary target. I see Smotherman pressuring and Tercios moving all around the cage, purely spamming kicks. I feel Smotherman's basic boxing footwork and focus and counter punching will probably see him struggle to track him down. And Smotherman, he likes to counter jabs or slip inside punches in the pocket, and Tercios doesn't really commit to punches. He mostly commits to high kicks and body kicks, which Smotherman will have to raise his guard to block or move away completely. And when Smotherman realizes baiting for counters in the boxing range isn't going to be the way to go from here, and he has to be first in exchanges, I could potentially see Tercios being frustrating to catch. And I would not be surprised if Tercios can be a minute winner here, especially when he decides to mix in takedowns, clinch against the cage, or pull guard, threaten subs from his back. So I can very much see optics favoring Tercios if Smotherman gets like pretty frustrated and can't get his boxing going, and Tercios is at the very least being active with his kicking or grappling attempts. I think Cameron Smotherman probably wins an ugly decision. I think fight goes the distance, but I'm definitely going to pass on this.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. I'm more than happy to pass on this. It's probably my least favourite fight in the entire card, to be honest. Like, Tercios is just one of the most ugliest, unconventional strikers in the UFC. He really is. Like, doesn't throw much that's effective. So I think, like, in terms of functionality, I think Smotherman is the way better striker. But, like, does he have the power to finish Tercios? I don't really think so. And I think Tercios could make it weird with some grappling moment. Like, he's not a great wrestler or anything like that, but if Smotherman looks to enter on him, I think he could reverse him or, just end up in some weird sequences. So, yeah, I think it's a close fight. I think Smotherman is probably better and should win, but, like, do I want to pay near -200 on that guy? Not really. So I'm more than happy to pass on that one, to be honest. I don't have much to add. I think it's a boring fight, and I'm not particularly keen for it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, up the card to another one that I'm curious to see what you're thinking on this one. One sec. Oh, there's a big mugshot of him. Anyway. All right, that should be good there. Okay, so we got Josh Hockett taking on Denzel Freeman. Prices, we've got Josh Hockett -215. The comeback on Denzel Freeman +185. I think this is an interesting fight. Like, I really wanted to see Jimenez extended against Hockett in some sequences, like particularly the grappling, and we didn't get it because of that early finish. So I still really do have a lot of questions across the board for me on Hockett. The leg kick looked pretty good for Jimenez. I don't know if you watched that fight back, but he hurt Hockett I think it was one leg kick. Like it wasn't more than two. I think it was one leg kick. He hurt Hockett. Hockett didn't really like the look of that. And it looked pretty bad for him. So I think Freeman should be looking for that one here. Hockett's got fast hands. He's got quick combinations for the division. He can catch you. He can swarm you. It's pretty much his best asset, mixed in with the wrestling. I still don't know about him late. And I think like in a tough back and forth dogfight, which I'm not sure Freeman is the guy to maybe give that, but maybe he is. I think he will slow down in fights. That's what I imagine that's probably true. He can wrestle. He's an okay striker. He looks so bad at times versus Uriel. I think there's a good fade coming on this guy. I don't know when it is. I don't know if this is too early. I think maybe he might have another 1 or 2 wins in him, and then that step up is where we'll get him. But on to Freeman, like such a snooze versus Bullho on UFC Qatar. He's got a Greco-Roman background, but to be honest with you, you don't really see it a lot in his fights. Like he's kind of content to strike for the most part, and then if there's some clinching, then he brings it in. I suppose that's the Greco-Roman style where it's you get your hands connected, and you look for trips or throws and stuff like that. But I wish he implemented it a bit more because he's pretty successful when he does look for it. He just doesn't look for it too often. I've seen him be taken down a couple of times, but to me, he looks like he can scramble pretty well for heavyweight and work back to his feet. I think he's probably going to need plenty of this as Hockett likely going to wrestle, you would think. He's got a decent Muay Thai output. Kicking game's actually pretty decent for heavyweight and functional. It's probably his best asset in his game, to be honest. I think he's okay. Like, he's not awful for heavyweight, but yeah, he has fought a pretty low level of competition, which is worrying. I almost wish, I never saw the Uriel fight at times because every time I watch that, I just think Hockett looks so beatable there. And maybe that was like an anomaly performance in that he looked worse than he normally would. But I almost feel like we saw some huge red flags at times there. So, like I said, I do think there is a fade coming. I think he's probably going to be able to enter on Freeman's hips. But, I think as a fight sort of get past that, 3-minute mark, I kind of think that Freeman probably is going to be able to stuff the majority of entries from Hockett. People talk about Hockett like he's this fucking Bo Nickel sort of wrestler, and he's not. He's a D1 wrestler, but he's not that. He's not that insta get you to the mat sort of wrestler. So on the feet, I think Hockett has more pure power and speed, but kicking offensive Freeman could have some success here. I think Hockett deserves to be faved, but I think it's probably no bigger than 55-60%, and it's all early for me. If it's late, I'm worrying.
I agree.
I'm worrying. So I don't have a bet just yet on this one. I'm not sure that I'll get to Denzel Pre, but I feel like Hockett after Freeman after round 1 is a really good look.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I also think the minus 200 price tag is both a reflection of Hockett's, I wouldn't say popularity.
Yeah, potential maybe. Yeah,
potential. He is a loudmouth. He's very outspoken.
Yeah,
a lot of that is in his stock, and he's delivering finishes, right? And Denzel Freeman, a lot of his price tag is got to do with that ball fest of a fight against Marek Bulyo on debut, and he looked pretty shit there, to be honest. But while Freeman didn't really impress no one, he showed he could fight for 3 rounds, and he's fought deep in fights numerous times against PFL and LFA competition. We still don't know how Hockett looks post round 2 at this level.
Yeah.
So,
and especially in a gritty fight, if it's back and forth, that's going to drain you even quicker.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't look incredible when you're watching him. He looks very sloppy, and like you said, we are going to catch this guy one day, with the fade when he gets to step up in competition. I just don't know if Denzel Freeman is that guy. I watched one of his fights in PFL, and he was he competed well, but he was starting to get walked down, and you could he's never been knocked out, I believe, but you can tell he doesn't really like getting hit.
Yeah.
And he kind of moves back, and you can see a little bit of life coming out of him when an opponent's walking him down. So for that, I'm just going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I feel like he's going to let Hockett get his game off. I think he'll let him go first, and that's just you just can't let Hockett do that. But who's to say he doesn't absorb some damage round 1, make it pretty gritty in round 2, and then take him, finish him round 3. It could happen. Yeah. There is a world. And I'm also thinking of return too. If I can get another fade on Hockett at 2 or, easy plus money, $3 maybe, and I've already bet against him twice, and I've lost both times, I'm like, fuck, the return's so much lower than as if I pass this one. I've only bet against him once, then I get, a decent return. So I'm thinking about that too. I think
Absolutely.
I think I'd probably end up on the pass with you, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how you can keep playing pocket at these big price tags when he looks like he's going to shit the bed at any time. So
But he is one of the more lighter and more agile heavyweights on the roster.
definitely.
So that would play good. Like that'll be good for him at this level. I just don't know if like when he goes up the rankings, that's gonna
100%.
be good for him.
No, it'll affect him at some point for sure. Okay, up the card to sleeper little banger of the week here.
I love this one.
We've got Michael Johnson taking on Alexander Hernandez. This is the battle of who will let you down. Like, if there's someone who's going to let you down, it's going to be one of these two
Both
guys.
of these two.
So we've got Alexander Hernandez minus 145 to 155, somewhere in that range. Michael Johnson plus 125, plus 130, somewhere in that range. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so this is a very winnable and losable fight for both fighters. Michael Johnson, he's on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Daniel Zellhuber, which I thought was a great win. Knocked out Otman Azaitar and beat Darius Flowers. While for Alexander Hernandez, 4-fight win streak. Complete career turnaround. He used to be like a win-loss fighter. Just when you think he's about to hit the big time, he just loses to like someone random.
100%.
And he strung together like a nice win streak. Austin Hubbard, Kurt Holloway, Chase Hooper, who he knocked out, and Diego Ferreira.
Mm-hmm. Still can't believe that one.
Still, yeah.
That's tough.
The thing with him is like he's always had a tendency to start strong and then falls apart as opponents start to make adjustments. But when he gets going, he's very fast, he's athletic and explosive. He can switch stances, and he's good at fighting both coming forward and dictating the pace, or being on the back foot, timing a counter, just like how we got Diego Ferreira. But nowadays, he seems to be fighting a bit more efficiently and more poised, and he's got a good team behind him in Team Factory X.
Mm-hmm.
As for Michael Johnson, he's 39 now, but he still has great knockout power and is still lightning fast with his hands. What's let him down his whole career is that he has poor IQ and he has a bad ability to stay sharp for entire fights. You can count multiple fights where he was winning or is doing great, and he just found a way to lose. Josh Emmett, Thiago Moises, Diego Ferreira, Gaethje, Stevie Ray, Darren Elkins.
Yeah.
Like all of those fights, like he starts off competitive and then, he just, a defensive lapse happens and bang. That's why a lot of people say that he's one of the best round one fighters of all time. He might just be like a round one champ. But yeah, as I said, very winnable, losable fight for both fighters. And I did take this fight a week and a half ago, and the odds were much different. And I got Michael Johnson at plus 160.
Okay.
So for me, I think that is decided as the fight is close. I do think Alex is a deserved favorite.
Yeah.
But while he's on an impressive run and career turnaround, if we look at the streak, none of these guys have the speed, one-punch knockout power, athleticism, and experience of Michael Johnson. And Hernandez was low-key getting touched up on defeat against Kurt Holloway not long ago. It's just a shame Kurt Holloway couldn't stuff a takedown to save his life. As for Michael Johnson, his performance against Zellhuber was very impressive to me because it was a very mature performance. And he landed some very good volume and effective shots, but most importantly, he stayed defensively responsible. That seemed like a fight that at any time I'm just thinking, all right, Michael Johnson's going to find a way to fuck this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did really well. He had good flurries as he came forward and caught him with sharp counters on the back foot. And Hernandez has been fighting well, but I think he's still defensively exploitable and hasn't been in front of a good striker with consequential power in a long time. I do see Hernandez constantly moving around the cage, circling and picking his spots to come in, and he's going to find success. Like Michael Johnson is not perfect at all, but I do think Hernandez is too counterable, and I see him walking straight into some counter left hands. And if he's pushed back, he has some pretty bad optics, especially when he gets hit. His face gets red, his body gets red, and he just gives big reactions when he's being moved back. And then also when he's tired, you see it when he's tired as well. So, and once he loses momentum, I don't think he's a great fighter at getting back some momentum. Ultimately, I think MJ hits the mark with his fast 1-2, slip counters, coming over the top with hooks as they're in close. And I do think he can match Alex's footwork with his in and out movement. So, yeah, I took a stab at Michael Johnson as a plus 160 dog. I think now the odds are a bit more accurate around the plus 130,
Somewhere
35 mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Johnson here. Not high confidence, however.
Yeah, nice breakdown. I agree. Like, if you got Michael Johnson at plus 160, that's a pretty good price, given it's, like, I think Hernandez definitely deserves to be favourite just because of pure athleticism and youth at this point. I just think MJ shouldn't be fighting. Like, he's had so many bad finishes and so much damage over the years. But, there's a couple of good performances, like, turn the clock back. No, not really. Is he going to make a run for the title? Definitely not. Like, I don't know. If I'm in Michael Johnson's corner, I'm probably having a word to him and saying, it's probably time to go. Like, he's had some of the most brutal knockouts that you can remember.
Yeah,
Josh Emmett,
Diego
Ferreira, like, so many just, like, stiffened up knockouts. It's pretty bad. But, like, Hernandez's style hasn't really changed an awful lot through the years. If anything, he's got a lot more footwork to stay on the outside and really force opponents to come to him, where, like, he'll try and counter straight and meet you in the middle. And I think that could happen here with Johnson, but Johnson throws straight extremely well and probably matches him for speed, to be honest, even at his uncaged. So I think it's going to be a pretty close striking fight. And both guys are very hittable at the best of times. So, I mean, like you said, plus 160, I think it's fine. I think Hernandez is a little bit too single shot oriented at times for mine. He had that disgusting stoppage versus CDF. Like, I still despise that ref. Yeah. The way that he stopped that fight and let CDF take like 3-4 unanswered shots when he was out, so bad. But clearly that, Hernandez still has power in his hands. Still very athletic. He's very explosive based movements, like, which is kind of interesting. Despite how long he's been in the UFC, you kind of think he'd be a bit older, and maybe the style would develop a bit. But it really hasn't changed a whole lot since he entered the UFC. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a competitive fight. I think a few years back it's probably really competitive, but I think the athletic difference is probably going to be pretty stark, like after 5 minutes. Hernandez usually tends to slow down in fights, but I think he might have started to buck that trend a little bit. Like, maybe he's on a really good training track with Factory X or wherever he's at. Because I think they might have, like, there was some stuff about Factory X splitting or not disbanding, or so, like, there was some change up at Factory X that happened. So I think Hernandez is going to be really annoying to hit with that footwork for Johnson, who could hit him, like, given he does have decent boxing. But to me, it kind of feels like a matter of time until Hernandez lands like a big shot, to be honest. So, yeah, I think Hernandez wins probably TKO. I like the look of unders. You're getting like plus 145 for under 2.5 rounds for two guys who are probably going to try and crack each other. So I don't mind that look. I think it's fine.
Yeah. End of the day, very winnable, very losable.
Yeah. Yeah. Huck Karinsky, is this the card Sage Northcutt is on also? No. Sage Northcutt he's not fighting anymore, I don't believe. No. I think he's in real estate or something. Yeah. Superboy's gone. Okay, up the card to a fight that I am actually pretty keen for. This is a good fight. This is on the early prelims, which is kind of shows you how sort of stacked this card is. We have Alex Perez taking on Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson minus 170, steep favourite. Come back on Alex Perez plus 145 to plus 155, somewhere in that realm. You know me, I've tried to fade Charles Johnson many a time. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's talented. I think he has good skills in a lot of areas. But I like fading him. I really do. But I'm not sure I'm going to get there in this one. Like, I'll start with Perez. I really respect him. Like, I think he's had a tough strength of schedule his whole career. He's had some decent performances, some unlucky injuries, some bad performances. I think he's got a pretty fun fight style overall, I would say. Like, he isn't... in terms of being in flyweight, he isn't in boring fights typically. And in a division where finishes are on the lower end typically, he actually has plenty of stoppages in both wins and losses. So my opinion hasn't really changed since the last fight. Like, I think he's a gritty fighter who can have success in a few areas and look like value typically. He's long had issues with defending submissions, particularly like the front headlock series, guillotines, darts, all that sort of shit. And he just gets caught in bad positions where his defense is too relaxed. Like, he'll get the arm around the neck and he won't freak out, which is generally a good thing. But as soon as it's sunk in, he's done already. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got a couple of seconds. You can't let that hand get too sunk in, and he does that. So it's a little bit of a worry. He's got good leg kicks, functional boxing, nice hooks in the pocket. He's got okay defense, okay volume, okay power. He's just like okay everywhere across the board. On to Charles Johnson. I really do just despise this guy betting wise, to be honest. He's brutalized me a few times, so like credit to him. But I definitely have some bias against this guy. I consider Josh Van and Loney Kavanagh very good strikers, and he, despite looking dead in the water multiple times against them, managed to finish them both pretty brutally. Crazy. So that alone kind of does make me respect his game, but it also pisses me off because at the number that we were on both those guys and like how they were looking to lose the bets like that just fucking hurts. But he's a good size for the division. He's got solid cardio, output, footwork through 15 minutes. There's zero lack of want in Charles Johnson. Like, he's a very gritty and, he's a very gritty fighter, can fight through adversity. He's got very low lead head defense. Like, he likes to defend with the Philly shell style where he rolls his shots, but he can get hit to the head plenty. He's got pretty good sub defense on the mat. He can be out wrestled, and I do think Perez will probably take him down if he wants to. However, he continually works and advances position, and he wears on your tank like that and just sort of takes over as the fight goes on. He did struggle with the speed of the last two fighters that he fought, but I think he's probably going to be the faster fighter here. Overall, I think this is a really fun fight. I think Perez is probably going to look good early before probably succumbing to Johnson's pace and non-stop output later in the fight. So I think Johnson post round 1 is a much more palatable price. I think Johnson 2 or 3 is interesting. I'll be on Johnson in some regard. I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3 or inside the distance or something like that, but I'm going to have a play on Charles Johnson for sure.
Yeah, nice. Man, it's hard to back Perez at this point of his career, but I will say he always looks like a good bet until he doesn't.
Yeah.
He can very much compete with everyone in the division, but always seems to find a way to lose. He's 1-3 in his last 4. He's coming off a round 3 sub loss to Almabaya, where he didn't look that bad.
He looked good, yeah.
And before that, against Tatsuro Taira, he didn't look that bad in round 1. As well, yeah. But yeah, his career has been plagued by fight cancellations and just unfortunate injuries and all that. He's a pressure and combination striker. He stays low with knees bent and erupts with flurries and slick combinations as he marches down opponents. He does have good jiu-jitsu, like when he attacks it. He loves to threaten a range of chokes like Das, Anaconda, Bravo, arm triangles, but a lot of high-level grapplers have their way with him and can find the finish as well. He can very much compete with everyone in the division. He made Muhammad Makayev absolutely work for it.
Yeah, tough fight.
Yeah, and Charles Johnson, he's 5-1 in his last 6, coming off a round 2 knockout of Loney Kavanagh. The one loss he did have in the last 6 fights was a guy who tested positive.
Yeah.
So take that away, he's on
Tamirov, remember that.
He's on a pretty good win streak.
Yeah.
Including wins on Loney Kavanagh and Josh Van.
Mm-hmm.
He's got pretty polished boxing, uses very sharp and crisp combos in the pocket, and he uses effective kicks from range as well. He's mainly a southpaw but can fight from both stances and delivers punches and kicks effectively on either stance. He does have good cardio, but at times he fights a 5-round pace in 3-rounders, which is his undoing at times. And I think Perez's route to victory to me is dependent on Charles Johnson fighting as if it's a 5-rounder and finding himself inactive in round 1 and taking too long to get going and losing a close round 2, which is possible. But I think Perez will give up too much height and reach against Charles Johnson. His style of pressure boxing in the pocket kind of plays into Charles Johnson's counter-striking game. If Perez attempts takedowns too, I think Charles can stuff it. Pretty much, he does come from a high school wrestling background, and he does have a good sprawl. I think these odds are pretty spot on. I think Charles Johnson probably wins round 3 or by decision, and I think that's the bet I'm going to get to, round 3 or decision.
Yeah.
But man, I wouldn't rule out a finish in round 2 either.
Yeah, that's what Johnson scared me off that.
He did knock out Kavanagh in round 2 and Van in round 3. 2 guys similar in height to Perez.
Bro, when I watched that Loney Kavanagh fight back, he was dog walking Charles Johnson. He was dominating that fight. I wonder what he was live. I wouldn't be shocked if it was
plus 600.
Yeah, he honestly, Loney Kavanagh was up 2 rounds easily, and then just slows down, wears that shot on the break, and just is down. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I thought that bet had cashed already.
Yeah.
And he comes and strikes again. So if he wins this fight, I tell you what, he might be in my. Sorry, if he loses this fight and I'm on him, he could very well go to my most hated fighter.
Yeah.
In terms of betting, like he's up there already.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a good fight. I'm pretty keen for that one. We'll see what ends up happening. I mean, it's tough not to take Johnson by submission. Like I feel like anyone against Perez playing by submission, it's probably a pretty good play. But I think it's only like plus 300 or something. Yeah, it's like plus 350, 300. For a guy like Johnson, who's not a huge submission grappler, like he has some submissions, but yeah, it's not one I'm super interested in. I'd probably rather take ITD, covers both, and you get where is it? Johnson ITD plus 170, plus 200. I think that's better than plus 300 straight. Yeah. So that's where we'll be on that one. All right, on to the prelims. We have the Ukrainian Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Prices, we have Modestas Bukauskas minus 145, and the comeback on Nikita Krylov plus 125. Who you got winning this one, my friend?
Man, I thought Bukauskas at minus 200 was a pretty generous price, and now we're getting it at minus 145. Look, I've never been a Krylov lover. Like, I never really thought he was that good. He's 11-9 in the organization. He's beaten some solid names like Gustafsson and Ozdemir. And to his credit, 28 of his 30 wins are by finish, and we can attribute it to his superior skills on the mats for the division. Like, if he can get you down, he's got vicious ground and pound and a crafty submission game. But on the feet, he's as stiff as a board and so hittable, and his chin is dust now, and he's been looking worse than ever. And he's on a 2-fight losing streak, both knockouts to Bogdan Guskov and Dominic Reyes. And I faded Krylov in both those fights. Took Guskov as a plus 165 dog, amazing. And Reyes at plus 135, amazing. Bukauskas, he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's shown pretty good developments in all areas of his game since returning to the UFC. He fights long and measured, can operate from both stances. He stays bouncy, ready to leap in and out. And he has a fast and accurate 1-2 from distance. And strings together like pretty solid combos in the pocket. The thing is with him, he can be a bit low volume. And but he does have good, solid takedown defense and offensive grappling as well. Honestly, I think, I know Bukauskas isn't like the heaviest hitter, but I just think he finds the knockout with like a simple 1-2 or glancing hook after he leaps in and commits. Like Krylov's chin is way up, his defense is shit, he's stiff as a board, and like pretty easy to time with his entries. So I think Bukauskas as a parlay piece, particularly now at minus 145, is pretty good.
Our first disagreement on the entire card, like I've wanted to fade Modestas for pretty much since he's come back in the UFC for his second run. I think he's got a good frame for the division. He's a decent, like he's got decent enough striking acumen to outstrike and hurt people like given the heavyweight class, but he's fought fucking bums like Sakira, Zach Ponga, Andreas Michailidis, Prapniel. Like his level of competition is absurdly low. This is a step up in competition, like for sure, and it is hard to know, what to expect exactly from a guy like Krylov at the current point in his career, and especially after 2 pretty nasty KO losses. But like on his day, I think his grappling is more than enough to really threaten Modestas, and at worst, like keep him on his back flat, and at best, like threaten some submissions and getting out of there. I do think his chin is, getting close to dust. But to be fair, the Bogdan loss is aging pretty well given the competitive fight with Jan, and the fact that he, Bogdan has pretty good hand speed and from weird angles. So like, he hit and hurt Jan as well. So like, this guy's a pretty good striker and he catches a lot of guys. So I think that has to weigh in some point. I think it might be coped, but I kind of was interested to see extended Modestas versus Craig. I don't think Nikita will jump guard and get ground and pounded out of the UFC like an idiot like Paul Craig did.
No.
So to me, like, this is a 50-50 fight, and I'm pretty happy to be on the dog side. Like, if Krylov comes in, gets dusted, it is what it is. But, like, Modestas, I don't think he's a huge hitter for light heavyweight. Like, he's obviously a decent striker, and he's a heavier dude, so obviously the shots are going to land more. But in terms of raw power, I don't think he's a huge hitter.
No.
And he's low volume, and he's just a bit of a Gumby. Like, I think Aspinall's, obviously been out of the training room for a while, who's one of his main training partners. I heard he's training out of his own home gym, which I don't love. There's just a few things that make me not that keen on Bukauskas, plus the element that I've wanted to fade in for a while. So, look, if Krylov comes in and gets knocked out, then it is what it is. 3 losses in the trot, he's probably done. But I think on his best day, he could win this through the grappling, and I think he might submit him. So I had a nibble on Nikita Krylov at plus 150. I got him at 1.25 units. He's come in a little bit since then to plus 125. So got a little bit of line movement, but like I said, if he comes in and dies, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, up the card. We're probably going to save some time here. Don't worry about going into this guy's profile. We'll probably save a fair amount of time. I mean, unless you have something.
I have an angle.
You have an angle?
I have an angle.
Okay. All right. So we have Ateba Gaethje taking on Andre Polayev. Ateba Gaethje on a crazy knockout run. I'm seeing minus 1,000, but I think he's like minus 850 in most places.
Yeah.
The comeback on Polayev, plus 550, plus 600, somewhere in that realm. I don't have a lot to say on this one. You can kick us off if you want, if you've got an angle.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Ateba Gaethje is a physical specimen. A lot of knockout power. 8 knockout wins, 7 in the first round. His game is to come at you hard from the opening bell, throw heavy combos in the pocket, and if he ends up on top of opponents on the ground, he has like pretty brutal ground and pound. Polayev is 1-1 in the UFC, coming off a round 2 knockout of Nick Klein. He's a very dangerous southpaw kickboxer with sneaky power, clearly very skilled. He put on a clinic in the Contender Series fight to win a contract, set a high pace, and has pretty high output. In the regional level, he was out there demolishing guys quickly, but it's not the best competition, however. He lost against CLD by unanimous decision in his debut. That was a fight where I did like his takedown defense and his ability to stay out of danger in that fight. So, man, Gaethje at these odds is unplayable.
Yeah.
As well as his knockout line, unplayable. 7 of 8 wins are in round 1, so I expect a pretty juicy number for a round 1 knockout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in fight to start round 2.
You love these plays.
I love these plays.
Okay, this could be one of them.
And I've been pretty profitable with these plays.
Yep.
Now, does that mean he can't get knocked out in round 1? He could very much get, knocked out in round 1. But I think Polayev, I've done extensive tape on him leading into the Nick Klein fight. I think he has 5 minutes of solid defense in him against someone so raw. It is scary because Polayev has been knocked out in round 1 early in his career. But since then, he's looked pretty good, albeit against poor competition. But going 3 rounds with CLD and barely absorbing damage against him is a good look. I think he can stay technical and sharp for 5 minutes. And I think there's a reason why CLD looked pretty hesitant in that fight. It's because he didn't like some certain looks that Polayev was giving him. And in that fight, Polayev knew when to clinch. He knew when to his head positions, to stay away from spinning elbows against the fence. I honestly think he has 5 minutes of fight in him. So fight to start round 2, I got that at plus 125. I've just put a unit on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good angle. It's going to be a
scary 5 minutes, man.
It's scary, sort of hold your ticket sort of angle, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot to add to that, to be honest. I think Gaethje should go out there and just dominate him. I think Polayev's going to be too comfortable in positions. He's comfortable with his back on the cage, and I don't think you can do that with a guy like Gaethje who literally just wants to move in and just maul you with combinations. And I think he's actually people call him Ngannou, the new Ngannou and stuff like that. I think he's pretty intelligent, as a striker. He throws really calculated shots and kind of does set things up. So I actually think he's a pretty technical striker, and obviously the physicality and all that goes with it, and the athleticism that goes with it as well. He really is going to be a bit of a danger as he gets more developed in his career. So yeah, I mean all of their opponents have pretty easily got their hands on Polayev when they want to move in. And I think Gaethje is going to have pretty huge strength edge in close. I do think he has, Polayev has some okay tools at long range, but I do really worry for him early. He's going to be in front of Gaethje with little really to mix in, and he's going to try and cash in late with volume. I don't think he will, but hey, for you, I'm hoping he gets to round 2. If you want Gaethje to win round 2, it's plus 350, somewhere there. But if not, fight to start round 2, plus 120. Get out with your ticket hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
But you do pick those ones well, so
Mm.
maybe it's another case of that. Alrighty, up the card.
Biggest favourite in the card.
This is the biggest favourite in the card, yeah, by quite a bit. Like, he's almost double what Gaethje is.
Which is bizarre.
We have Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. Figgy, the prices. We have Umar Nurmagomedov minus 1,500. The comeback on Figgy plus 850. That's a huge price. Like, it clearly is dog or butt. Like, you can't play minus 1,500 on any sense of the imagination. But I love Figgy. I really do. I love him as a guy. We've loved him for years. Like, even against Moreno, you and me, we loved him.
Yep.
I just think he's getting Umar at a bad time, in my opinion. Like, he can compete. I think Umar can compete on the feet with Figgy for as long as he wants to. And I think in any grappling sequence over time, he should be winning. I think, I don't know, I'm just sus on Figgy at the moment. I don't think he's as good at Bantamweight. Like, he's just a different style. His power just isn't as much of a tool as it was at Flyweight. He's not like this berserker who can just run through people like he could at Flyweight.
Yeah.
And if he wants to grapple here, I think he's going to get himself into trouble. So I'm pretty confident that Umar's going to sub him in round 1 or 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have like a huge technical breakdown. I'm just pretty confident. And it's a minus 1,500. What are we going to say? Like, I think I think there's 2 good looks on this fight, though, that I really like. I like Umar by submission, plus 170, plus 200, somewhere around there. I think that's a really good price for his most likely path to victory. And then under 2.5, plus 157. I think that's a fucking great price. Like, you're getting a guy who's minus 1,500. The last time he fought a Brazilian, he fucking steamrolled him in Barcelos. I think he could KO Figgy. I think it's probably less likely, but I think he could. And I think he definitely can submit him. So I like both of those looks. Good plus money on both. I'll be on probably both.
Yeah, I'll be as well. But like looking like outside of that, these odds are insane.
Yeah,
given Figgy is the former flyweight champ. But given career trajectory, clash of styles, and the size that Figgy gives up, I think these odds sort of make sense. Umar has shown in previous matchups he can deal with the threats Figgy brings, and if anything, I'd hate to say it, Figgy might be the easiest matchup since at least Raoni Barcelos.
Yeah.
Striking wise, Figgy is too stiff and robotic. Still has the puncher's chance, but we've seen Umar recover after being hit with bombs by Beksat Almakan and Mario Batista, that massive knee. All up striking, I think Umar's just going to be too dynamic and too quick. And once Umar gets it to the ground, I don't know if it's going to be through like his own takedown, it probably will, or like Figgy trying to shoot, Umar stuffing in, like maybe getting like a front choke.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think he's just going to have his way with a very undersized Figueiredo in the ground. In all of Figueiredo's bantamweight wins, he had significant ground control time, which is definitely a way he has adapted to the new weight class. But in this case, I don't see a path there on the ground and in the stand-up. Like he's just too stiff and robotic. So I think Umar is going to get a submission here.
Same page for that one. I like that a lot. Okay, that's headlining the prelims. I mean, that tells you how good this card is. That's headlining the prelims. Is that fight in the right area? This one?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, no, it's lower on the card for some reason. Okay, on to the main card. We have kicking it off an absolute banger. I'm very excited for this one. We have Arnold Allen taking on Gene Silva. Gene Silva is the pretty firm favourite at minus 245, 255, somewhere in that realm. The comeback on Arnold Allen, plus 210, plus 220. Ryan, does Gene Silva cover this price, or does Arnold Allen look like a pretty good bet at the price?
It's tough because Arnold Allen is probably one of the more skilled, like all-round
well-rounded, yeah.
Gene Silva's fought. He's 11-2 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win against Giga back in 2024. The thing with Arnold Allen, he's very inactive. Only fought 3 times since 2023. But yeah, like I said, well-rounded. He's got a southpaw stance. He has crisp combos, like always throwing punches and bunches. Typically uses his jab as a range finder before it comes down to the head and back to where it comes back down to the body, then back to the head. Often starts and ends combinations with high kicks. And he can be successful shooting takedowns because of his raw strength and explosiveness, but he usually likes to keep fights standing. And he's up against Gene Silva, who, like, I know a lot of people shit on him, but I love it all.
Yeah.
I love all the barking and all
It's
that
good for
shit.
you.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
like, maybe that's a reflection on my personality. But I love it all. He's 5-1 in the UFC with 4 knockouts and 1 sub. Coming out of a loss against Diego Lopez, where he actually looked alright in that second round until he fucked up and got reckless.
When you watch that fight back, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. He's got high level boxing. He's very sharp in exchanges in the pocket. Like, he fires off tight, accurate counters and straight shots in close. While he has a lot of power in general, the power he can generate in close with no wind up is crazy. If you look back at that Charles Jourdain knockout, he just went like that.
Yeah.
He just swung it like that and knocked him out cold. His favorite shot is his check left hook. You can see it in all his highlight reels. It's always that check left hook followed by that straight right up the middle. Grappling wise, he's solid offensive and defensive grappling, but that's not really his. He doesn't really like to go there unless Bryce Mitchell's trying to attack takedowns on him. But yeah, with Gene Silva, he lost his last fight being reckless, spamming that stupid spinning elbow and coming forward trying to get Lopez out of there. Then funnily enough got hit with a spinning elbow that put him to sleep. Prior to that, he was looking pretty good. In this fight, there's going to be no bad blood. In the Lopez fight, there was like a little bit of bad blood. But here, no bad blood. So that tells me Silva is going to be high-fiving and being playful with Allen. And whether Allen falls into it or not, Silva does seem to fight sharper and more calculated when he's like having fun and getting along with his opponents. And Allen will be one of the more well-rounded opponents Silva has faced, but he's not exceptional as a striker, and he's not exceptional as a grappler. He's just good everywhere. But as shown against Max Holloway and even Movsar Evloev, he can look pretty below ordinary when he's up against someone high level at a certain aspect of the sport.
Yeah.
Gene Silva, to me, he's an exceptional striker, and I do think he's going to hurt Allen here. Like, Allen has shown solid striking against good opponents, but Silva is much sharper and has the power to put him to sleep. Movsar rocked Allen pretty badly from a jab when they fought. Holloway landed quite easily throughout their 5-rounder. I think Silva can very much hit the mark. And the way Allen comes forward and unloads, I think Silva will be able to time his counters as Allen comes in and find a right hand over the top or check left hook as Allen jabs. Allen has never been finished in his career, but I think there's a possibility that Silva could be the one to get it done. Like, as for Allen, I think the way he finishes Silva here is to stem from a spinning elbow or flying knee or even an injury or something. But I know, like, punches that Silva can see coming, he can just eat those and keep walking forward. So, I did play Silva by KO at plus 180, and I used him at minus 300 as a parlay piece.
That's why I love this game. We don't talk in the lead up to these fights. We don't talk about what we think is going to happen. This is the first time we hear each other, and I've got exactly the same outcome, analysis, breakdown, everything. That's why I love this. So
always a good sign.
I'll go through my points quickly, but I won't. I'll try not to repeat on too much that you said. But Arnold Allen, like, a very unconventional looking style. Like, he looks very herky jerky. Like it's awkward, and I don't like his footwork. I don't know. When I see a guy like that, I'm like,
he's like hunched over a little.
Yeah,
like,
it's athletic, but it's also just really unconventional. And I'm like, I'll imagine sparring him, and I'm like, this guy will just piss me off, like, with that movement. It's just really annoying. But he's clearly got good footwork, good ability, good agility. Like you said, I think he's really good everywhere without being amazing anywhere. Like, he's got technical striking relatively. He can wrestle at times. He's pretty safe everywhere. He doesn't really have like a lot of power. He kind of just has a lot of close fights always. And I kind of almost forgot that he fought Holloway a little bit. Like, it's just such a random fight. I'm still surprised that it happened. But I think that probably sums up where he is overall. Is like, he's that step down for being that, like, elite guy. He's probably in that like 4 to 8 range. Like, that's his money spot. Yeah. Whereas if he goes much higher, I'd kind of be surprised just because he isn't a specialist anywhere. Like exactly like you said. I think his main offense is kind of chopping leg kicks and that rear left hand down the middle. And I think Gene Silva's going to be all over that. Gene Silva, like, his style felt less functional versus Lopez when he wasn't in that groove in round 1. But as soon as he got his timing and you know, a little bit of that confidence in round 2, way different beast. he goes first, he gets you backing up and hesitant. He starts to add nasty attacks with like, range of elbows down the middle. He throw like the axe elbow and all sorts
I
of.
love his pullback right.
Yeah, there's so many shots that he just can throw that I think he'll catch Allen off guard at, like with his speed and just the angle that it comes from. He does have like a more heavy set style where he plants his feet to counter, so like inherently he won't really be able to check leg kicks well. And Mitchell had a fair bit of success, and Lopez hurt him there too. So I think Allen could have some success with the leg kicks. But he does have like a pretty nasty range of guillotine and front chokes that can catch you quickly. They're more strength based than technique, but I think if Allen shoots a poor shot after getting rocked, I think Silva could look to lock that in as well. I think he's going to throw more volume and be the clearly more powerful striker and have way more finishing intent. So while I do think it's like a bit of a weird fight to a degree, I do think Silva should be favoured, given this is likely a striking fight in which he's got more power and more volume. But Allen does have a weird style that I could see being a little bit confusing for like a round or so. So particularly with like those leg kicks, it'll be a pretty big tool for Allen. So I do think that Allen could potentially steal like a round, maybe and a half, and potentially threaten in round 3 just because he has good cardio. So there might be a little bit of value on Allen here, but to me, it does feel like the power and the finishing upside for Silva is like the biggest overall asset in the entire fight. So if you have Silva, I kind of tend to think you want him to finish at that big number more often than not. And, we have seen Allen hurt a couple of times in the recent fights, like you said, and against guys that aren't near as powerful or as good as Gene. So when you go back and you watch what Gene did to fucking Diego Lopez, I think he knocks out almost anyone in that spot. I think he knocks out Volk in that spot very easily. He knocks out a lot of guys. I think Silva is a very, very potential title challenger this year. And as so, I think he runs through Arnold Allen. I think he finishes him. I like Silva TKO plus 175. I'm going to be on that. You're on that. So
Love it.
we're on the same page there. So a little bit of confidence.
That could be our bet of the week.
Yeah, could be. Could definitely be. And I mean, I don't like it because I like Arnold Allen. I think he's a really nice, he's a nice guy. He's a good character.
He's a good fella.
This is like the battle of the autists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Gene Silva's like angry autistic and Arnold Allen's like nice autistic.
Yeah, introverted.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be hilarious, but great fight. Okay, speaking of great fights, let's keep it going. We've got Natalia Silva taking on Rose Namajunas. Prices, we've got Natalia Silva minus 350. The comeback on Rose Namajunas plus 290, 300. Somewhere there. Ryan, does Natalia Silva continue the climb here, or does Rose Namajunas wind back the clock?
I think Silva continues the climb.
Yeah.
Like, Rose, she's 3-2 since moving to Flyweight. She's coming off a unanimous decision win over Maverick, which doesn't really tell me much. Like, Maverick even had her, pretty good positions, in round 2, towards the end of round 2. Rose, she's got a sharp in and out boxing style, very bouncy, moves around the cage, picking her spots to lunge in. She's got good timing with her takedowns, which could be important here, and she does rack up good control time. But while she's still very skilled, she's not improving. She's not as dominant as she was in strawweight. She's prone to lapses in IQ and game planning. She's not as defensively responsible, and she's got Pat Barry in the corner. Like that can't
in more than a corner.
Yeah. But one thing about her is that she was always implementing more movement than her opponents. And here she's up against Natalia Silva, who is gonna outdo her in that sense. She moves around the cage with her high level footwork, looking to tag girls with a high volume and sharp kickboxing. I don't know why she took this fight. She could have just waited for the title shot.
Weird.
Yeah. But I think she's going to be too fast and athletic. She's got a good gas tank. She can maintain that pace through 15 minutes. We've seen it all before, but most of her wins are by decision. She does have some submissions and knockouts in her record, but as of recently, she's just been winning mostly through 15 minutes. She does have sneaky jiu-jitsu up her sleeve if fights get to the ground, and I think Rose is good enough to avoid some of those traps. So I think Rose's path to victory would be timing takedowns in each round and holding him the fuck down. But other than that, I think Natalia Silva wins a semi-competitive decision, maybe 29-28, maybe 30-27 in one card.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's hard to get enthused about Rose at this point, especially against a fighter who's does things that she does well, but better.
Mm.
Like the footwork, the kicking on the outside, all that sort of stuff. Natalia Silva was just so much better, so much faster, so much more intent. And I think if like a girl like Jazz Vicious, who is like super big and physical, like can have no success wrestling you, I don't know if Rose is going to have that success. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Natalia Silva is definitely the side in this one. Like you're never going to catch me paying minus 350 on a WMMA fighter, but I think she wins.
Good.
Yeah, I think she wins. Like I don't think she finishes. She's not like a huge finisher.
No.
So I think it's probably a decision 29-28 or 30-27. But for minus 350, like I'd want to know that my fighter can finish, and I'm just not sure that she can. So pretty happy to pass on that one, to be honest.
It'll be a good scalp, like under.
It's a good name. It's a good name for the belt. They're clearly just priming her ready for the title fight next. So, yeah, I'm not super intrigued by that fight, to be honest. But hey, you never know. You never know. Okay, I know you're going to have something to say about this one. Your boy, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, the pirate, the one-eyed pirate, taking on Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast.
I've been backing Waldo since before everyone jumped on.
Yeah, you have, since the start.
I love this guy.
You do. So he comes in here minus 330. The comeback on Derrick Lewis plus 270. People are going to say what they're going to say about this one. I'll kick us off. I don't have a whole lot on this one. My breakdown literally says, leave this to Ryan. I like the looks of Waldo by decision. Like, D. Lewis is on the peptides. He came out and said he's backtracking it now, but he's on the peptides. He said the UFC gave him peptides, so we all know what goes on there. But I still think he's washed, and I think Waldo should be faster, albeit, having less power, pound for pound. But I think Waldo could outpoint him for like a relatively cruisy 3-round decision, like minus a few moments where Lewis looks to really swing and go for it. But as long as he avoids that, I think he's got more volume. He's the better striker. He's just as big. I think he just has all the tools to win this one at this point.
Yeah, I agree. What I love about Waldo is that he doesn't stray from his boxing. He's almost exclusively does his work with his hands. He works behind a sharp jab, times counters well, and he's pretty durable and defensively pretty sound. And he's got good speed and timing as far as the heavyweight division goes. And he's got a high work rate, averaging 5.55 strikes landed per minute. Derrick Lewis, most devastating knockout artist in heavyweight history, is on a 2-fight win streak against Talison Teixeira and Nascimento. There's no technicality in his game. He just waits till the perfect shot presents itself, or he can find the chin as he rushes and unloads against people.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, if hit clean, he's prone to wilting and being overwhelmed by the damage. But I know Waldo's on a 2-fight win streak, both by KO.
The last one, a little bit of a question mark. The delete hard one, it probably should have been. I think it should have been no contest, personally.
Oh yeah.
Personally,
yeah. The last one was against what's his name? That Russian guy.
Oh, let me look quickly. Gaethje. Sorry, before that was Natalia.
Yeah, but the one before that, I had money on Natalia.
Yeah.
The first time I ever
you went against
Waldo, I backed Natalia.
Yeah.
But before that, he wasn't really a knockout guy, right? He was just outpointing these guys. He went to a close decision with Sergey Spivak.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a knockout line on him at +1. I'm gonna say 130, 140.
I'll have a quick look. Yeah. No, it's less. It's minus. Yeah, it's minus numbers. It's like between -110 and -125.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't play that at all.
No.
But yeah, Waldo was never known as a knockout guy. He's just gotten 2 straight knockouts in a row. But against other opponents, he just mainly jabs. He stays safe, and I can see that happening for him here. But there is going to be 3 or 4 explosions of attack in Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, it's exactly how I saw it.
3 or 4, and it's going to be maybe after 2 minutes of the first round.
Yeah.
So I can see Lewis getting jabbed up throughout the first round, and just coming forward and maybe landing something significant to the side of the head.
Mm.
And look, Waldo can very much get hit clean with a massive overhand and good night. Derrick Lewis would put out plenty of guys, but after these 3 or 4 explosions of attacks, I just see Lewis kind of just standing there, just waiting. And I think Lewis is enough of a knockout threat for Waldo to be nah, fuck that. I'm not going to be taking much risk.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a little bit hesitant.
I'm just going to jab this guy, jab, leg kick, jab.
Yeah.
try to get him to cover up, land like a very insignificant right hand. If you remember that Sergey Spivak fight, he landed a lot of strikes, but they were all pitter patter. And I think here we're going to see like hard jabs and then just pitter patter.
I agree.
So I like the look of Waldo by decision, or I might even have a look at Waldo round 3 or decision just to cover a round 3 knockout due to Lewis getting hit badly in the eye and wilting. So I like that look for you. But yeah, Waldo is the pick.
We're on the exact same side there. Like, I was hoping that you'd come in with one of your like fight start round 2 sort of like angles here.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you do. Like, over 1.5 is -140. I think that's a pretty good look. I think more often than not, this probably goes over.
Is it over 1.5? That's the line.
Yeah. There's over 1.5 -140, and then over 2.5 is +155. So.
All right, I might do one of my ladder plays.
Yeah, I like it. And then you can get Waldo. By decision is +275, +300, somewhere there.
I like that.
I think that's a really good look. I think that's probably more likely than a knockout, personally, but you never know. It's heavyweight.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, up the card to the co-main event of the evening. Obviously, Harrison and Nunes out. We now have Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. Prices, we have Sean O'Malley -200. The comeback on Song Yadong +170. I'm going to be honest, like, I came into this one and I thought I was going to be more on the Song Yadong side, which really confused me. Like, I think you have to question Sean O'Malley. Like, does he still have the love for the game? Is he still interested? Is he still all in?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to question that at this point. But
he's already said the words retirement.
Yeah, he's talking about that.
He has a lot going on.
The Marab rematch was like a dead set bottle job where he looked like shit. He quit after effectively a replica of the first fight.
And you got to question like guys that have made it to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And have failed on trying to regain that step up to the mountain. How do they come back? How do they come into this fight against someone like Song Yadong, who's been steadily rising?
Yeah.
And probably in the best position he's been in his life.
Yeah, it's his biggest fight of his career, for sure. And it's probably one of the least interesting fights of O'Malley's career in his last handful, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think he even deserved that rematch against Marab. So the fact that he looked even worse in that is even more concerning. But I think, I think it makes sense also. Like, he was very social media popular during his come-up, you know, due to the look or, you know, anything that he marketed himself around. But, you know, maybe that made the limelight less desirable as he grew up and matured. So that wouldn't be a shock to me. Like, he's a good fighter, man. He's a switch stance fighter, very feint heavy, happy to fight off the back foot if necessary. I've always kind of thought he's like frail, to be honest. Like he gets injury. He's very injury prone in fights, which I don't like. Like he always gets feet injuries or leg injuries or things like that in fight, which I hate. Has happened a few times now. Jan had a fair bit of success kicking the legs and the body instead of the head. That makes sense given the footwork and the amount of, you know, the range switches that O'Malley does. I think sometimes he's a little bit too comfortable chasing the rear hand snipe too much. So like if he doesn't find it, he risks getting outworked by volume like Jan was able to do in round 1 and 2 against him. Onto Yadong, very upright stance, head super central, so he mainly relies on footwork in and out and his durability, which he has proven, you know, very durable so far. He's got a super explosive style, very, you know, a lot of power, speed in all his shots. Decent leg kicks. I think he should be able to attack O'Malley here and to the body, and I think he should do that because we've seen that have success. I just think he's going to get a lot of shots, man. Like, if he doesn't wrestle early and often, I think he's going to be on the feet, and I think the speed and the timing of O'Malley is going to catch him a lot. Like, Yadong's a good striker, but it's not because he's like technical and he uses setups or feints. It's more because he's really fast and explosive and a bit of a berserker that'll kind of walk through anything. He does seem to be happy to be a walking target at times, like due to his durability. So like he's comfortable just walking into attacks and range, like similar to Cheeto Vera. And we really saw how Sean dominated Cheeto with speed and output. So Sandhagen tried to wrestle Song and he defended those attempts pretty well and he didn't get held down for too long. So, I mean, we're not going to see wrestling here from O'Malley, but, you know, Yadong did catch some kicks and use them for takedowns versus Sandhagen and Gutierrez, who are both guys that I would say are like a fairly comparable style to O'Malley. So I wouldn't be surprised if he catches some kicks and looks to wrestle here. I think he has to wrestle to have any chance in this fight. He has had like close-ish fights with those similar matchups to O'Malley, so maybe there's an angle there, but I think Sean has the best finishing instinct out of all of them. But like I said earlier, like arguably the most non-interested in fighting that we've ever seen him. So overall, I think Sean will probably win, but it feels like a 3-round decision like doesn't have a ton of room for error. Like he could TKO Song because he gets hit 20. But, like, I also don't really believe it's possible to knock out Song, like, until I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he could. He has all the tools to knock him out. But, like, until I see him unconscious on the canvas, I'm not going to believe that he's able to get knocked out.
I still think he was made in a lab.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, some of the shots he takes is insane. I think wrestling upside somewhat for Song, like off-catching kicks, like I said. But he doesn't really have, like, a dangerous guard game in any sense. He's not going to threaten subs. He's not going to really threaten a lot of ground and pound. So it kind of feels dog or pass at the number, even though like I think Sean's probably just going to dance to a decision win. Yeah. There's not really a lot that I like price-wise in this fight, so it's probably going to be a pass all round. But yeah, I think O'Malley probably wins this one.
Yeah, going into this, I thought I was going to get into a Song Yadong spot. Like he's someone I've been pretty successful betting on.
Yeah.
These last few years. What I like about him, he's well-rounded and he poses a threat in all areas. Like he's got dangerous striking as well as strong grappling, which has improved exponentially through the years.
Yeah.
He's explosive and fast twitched in his movements, and he's very versatile. Like he has the ability to follow a game plan and make in-fight adjustments. Like against Gutierrez, it was sort of back and forth in the striking, and then he just switched to a grapple-heavy game plan. Game over.
Dominated.
The thing with him is he gets hit a lot, and he relies on his toughness, and that's not something I want to. Like, even in fights where he's winning, like, he's happy to just eat a shot just so he can come forward. And that's not something I want to see against Sugar Sean O'Malley. I personally think this fight will go to distance because of Song's durability.
Yeah. And
Song will have his moments, but ultimately the gap in their striking technicality will be too much. Like, Sugar's management of range is on point, and there are big consequences if you commit to an attack and he's got your timing. And Song is a guy who will crash into range with no disregard to land something big. He's gotten this far with his ability to be fearless, eat whatever you land on him, and hit you with something bigger. But the guys he couldn't get past were the technically superior guys like Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan, and even Kyler Phillips back in the day.
Yeah, that's training partner of Sean. So it's good. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, they were able to make him pay. Song will need to mix in takedowns here, but I think Sugar should be prepared. Like he's had 3 grapple-heavy camps, and against much higher level grapplers. Like Song's physicality may play a factor here, particularly if he's trying to grind Sugar against the fence, working to get a single leg or a trip. My worry is that, and we touched on it like earlier, is that Sugar is he could be at a crossroads in his career.
Definitely.
And Song is only 28, which is
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I feel like I've been seeing this guy like all my life. In terms of improvements, evolution, Song is on track to rapidly be jumping levels higher, while for Sean, it's about living up to the greatness he's shown that got him to the title. I worry about fighters who've already reached the top of the mountain, have so much going on outside of fighting, and has acknowledged life after fighting. But I think Sean should be able to get this one done. I did play him to win round 3 of decision, plus 105.
Yeah.
He could get a early knockout, like maybe while they're fresh, or maybe Song might make this like a stupidly competitive fight where it's like a split decision and they end up giving it to it'll be like a 29-28 both ways, and then some judge will have a 30-27 for Sean.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what is it? The Sugar Athletic Commission.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Sean O'Malley is my pick. I think he wins by a decision.
Yeah, I like it. It's just not like, I don't know, look at numbers here, look at outcomes. There's not a lot that I love. Like over 1.5 minus 450, over 2.5 minus 275. Like huge prices to pay. And then you've got O'Malley by decision is like not even plus money. Like it's like minus 115, maybe plus 100. O'Malley's TKO is plus 350. Like that's kind of intriguing.
Did you say decision is minus?
It looks like it's about minus 115, maybe plus 100 in some places, like around that area somewhere.
I think that makes me glad that I got plus 105 on round 3 decision.
Yeah, I think that's a good price. Even like O'Malley by decision on its own is like plus 135, plus 150, somewhere there. Yeah. And it's just like, I think it's most like, it's just not that compelling, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think I'll have anything on that fight, but hey, maybe we see the return of Sugar Sean to the top.
That's it.
All right, speaking of top, we have the main event of the evening. We have Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. We've got Paddy Pimblett minus 250, minus 225, minus 230. The comeback on Gaethje plus 190. Interesting. Never thought that I would see the Baddy at minus 230 against a guy like Justin Gaethje. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, no worries, man. A Justin Gaethje title shot in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing?
Like, what are we doing? But, you know, the accolades. He's got 14 performance bonuses, 9 fight of the nights, 5 performance of the nights, a true killer be killed fighter. And when he came into the UFC, he was just fighting recklessly. He was like all action. And while he's still like pretty all action, he's been fighting a bit smarter in recent years. Like, he's evolved his style to have more measured boxing, a sense of range management. He's improved his IQ, and while he's always going to fight fire with fire, it's more calculated. And I think that change happened after the first Dustin Poirier fight.
Yeah.
After he got knocked out, he came in just a bit more calculated, getting quick knockouts, and then his performance against Tony Ferguson was incredible. Since that Dustin Poirier fight, first one, he's gone 8-3, only losing to Khabib, Charles, and Max. That's a pretty good like record. And the aspects of his game we're always going to see is his one-shot knockout power, his toughness, and his brutal leg kicks.
Yeah,
like they're fucked
in the pocket. Yeah,
like you in the pocket, and you see like big reactions from like really tough guys.
Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett 7-0 in the UFC, beating veterans like Michael Chandler, Bobby Green, Tony Ferguson. And the thing with Paddy is he's been steadily like improving, and like as he steadily moves up in competition. Like, it's crazy to think that Bobby Green was a favorite against Paddy Pimblett when they fought. But yeah, he's got a lesser polished style of striking. Like, sometimes he'll lunge in recklessly, overextend, or just throw very weird looking shots, and at times like very awkward. But he did look fundamentally improved and sharp against Michael Chandler. But I think the best part of his game is his grappling.
Yeah.
Strong. He is relentless with his takedown attempts. Once he's tangled up on the ground, he can maneuver his way through many positions to attack a range of subs. Like, he's got triangle chokes, arm bars, rear naked chokes as his go-tos. And I think Paddy must find sustained success with his grappling through this fight. Like, his striking has improved, but I think Gaethje will possess the most consequential threat on defeat out of anyone he's faced so far. And even against Michael Chandler early, like, he still had his chin way up, got caught with wild swings, and he still looked pretty exploitable. And one thing about Gaethje is that he's good at making in-fight adjustments. But I am confident Paddy will compete well enough on defeat, especially with his kicks. Like, he's got good kicks, like high and low.
Yeah.
And Gaethje kind of like leans into it. Like, I'm pretty sure he just straight up just goes right into it. And but look, Paddy needs to get this fight to the ground, and I do think he does. Like, I have to lean on the younger fighter in Paddy to get the win here. I think under 3.5 rounds will hit. I'm not sure if they're gonna be tangled up like on the ground, that Gaethje will be able to like survive like all these transitions and sub attempts. I did play Paddy in the distance at minus 125 for 1.5 units. But honestly, like, if you're a Gaethje fan, that money line is an enticing number. Like, whether he wins or not, it's one of those prices that could be good enough to get involved with if you were passionate on his chances. But I just don't believe 37-year-old Gaethje, who's had this much mileage, on his 4th title shot, will beat the younger guy with momentum, an ever-improving skill set, and the heavy grappling edge.
Yeah.
So,
Lovely breakdown, man. I mean, like, before I get into mine, I think it's like, for me, this is effectively a system play. Like, I play this almost every time against Gaethje in a title fight, and it's been successful so far, so I really have no reason not to run it again. But like, I know what you're saying with him being more calculated. He definitely has in his last few fights, but like, I feel like his overall style hasn't really changed like his whole career, you know what I mean? Like, he's always wanted to get in the pocket, box, really good leg kicks, and just like near impossible to kill on the feet, really. And that's still one of my favourite cashes, though. Holloway round 5, Holloway TKO,
mate,
Holloway
I'll
money
never
line.
forget
Like, all three of those in one hit in like 1 second to go. That's probably I don't think I'll get a better cash than that my entire life.
No, I was losing heavily on that card.
Yeah.
And then that happened.
Yeah.
Brought me right
Crazy.
back up.
Fucking crazy. He fights well through 3 or 5 rounds. Like, volume is okay. He does get hit a lot, obviously, and with the guy that, you know, throws like Paddy with the size that Paddy has and from really unconventional places, I don't think that's ideal. Like, defensively, he likes to slip in and forward a lot to try and get in the pocket and, you know, look to throw a counter or a counter hook or like an uppercut or something like that. But I don't think timing a takedown or a knee like off that defensive reaction would be overly difficult. Look, this guy literally got put in a fucking near inverted triangle and like some really weird and bad positions in a primary striker versus Physique. A guy like Physique almost put him in a fucking inverted triangle. Yeah, Gaethje did well to fight through positions, but regardless, like, if you make Physique look like a semi-efficient wrestler and you lose scrambles to him, like, is there a bigger red flag ever going into a fight with a grappler like Pimblett? It was really funny to me because, like, Anik ended the commentary to that Physique rematch by saying, now all the questions, like, have been answered. And, like, honestly, none of mine were. Like, I didn't see a version of Gaethje that I was like, okay, my answers, my questions have been answered there. He's back. He looks good. He's still got athleticism. He can, you know, he's improved his takedown defense or his grappling. None of it got answered. So, like, he got taken down. He got put in bad spots early, which has been the story of his career in title fights. Like, he was also losing round 2 until he, you know, put Physique down. Like, he knocked him down. So, fair play. But he didn't separate really at all that well in round 3 versus a gas Physique who, like, sucks late generally. So, he didn't wear many big shots to the head. So, you know, nothing was answered to me in that department. I don't know where his chin's at. I think it'd be good, but I still have a lot of questions on Gaethje at this point. So, watching the Khabib fight back, like, he was having a ton of success on the feet, like, purely off his leg kick and the counter boxing, but for me, like, the distinction is that as soon as any takedown came, he just looked like a fish off his back. He had no answer. He looked awful. So, Pimblett, you know, very, very, very solid MMA grappler, very strong scrambling ability. He's got a range of subs from any area on the mat. I love it. I think if he gets the fight on the ground versus Justin, he has the potential to look like a massive favourite. I really think he's going to dominate position and he's going to look live to finish the fight the whole time that it's there. So, you know, through his fight, you know, I think his fight versus Chandler was like a pretty clear improvement. Like, in terms of striking and comfortability on the feet, he looks far more comfortable there. But he's still weak there. But the thing he's got going for him is that he's huge for the division. He can land effective leg kicks and a range of kicks while on the outside. You got to hate him defensively. Like, he's got a low lead hand. His chin's very high. He relies on pretty much, you know, initial footwork and range. But he's fucking durable, man. He showed that his whole career. He thrives in scrappy fights. He gets hit. Like, there's that fight back in Cage Warriors where he gets knocked out. Like, he gets knocked out, gets slammed down, woken back up. he loves, like, this guy likes to fight, which I love. He'll, like, and people are wondering, how's he going to get this fight to the ground? I think he's got a fucking range of ways to get this fight to the ground. I think he can judo throw the shit out of Gaethje. I think he can get in the clinch. I think he can make it dirty. I think he can jump guillotine if he wants.
Yeah.
And, you know, be happy to play guard. So, like, if Gaethje thinks that he can relax in the clinch against the cage, which at times he does, like, he'll get the tie plumb and he'll, like, be comfortable there. And then he'll look for, like, the boxing combinations in close to the head and body. I think if he gets close with Paddy, I think he's fucked, to be honest. I think he's going to look to enter his world. And I like, you got to say this as well. Paddy has really good ground and pound. Like, he'll use that to open up submissions. So if Gaethje thinks he's defending submissions well and he's comfortable, well, guess what, buddy? You're going to eat some fucking elbows while you're down there and you're going to get split open and then we'll see if you can defend the submissions. Yeah. So I'm comfortable here. Like, I think the price, look, does it seem gross? Like, on the nose, minus 225 on Paddy Pimblett against the best guy in his career, Gaethje, who's like a good striker. Yes. But I'm confident he comes out here and submits him. I think he takes him down, submits him. I think round 1 or 2, to be honest. I think it's early.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance he can get a ground and pound?
I think there's a small chance. Like, he showed it versus Chandler where he was just comfortable to ride the back. Yeah. But I tend to think it's more for Gaethje. Like, I don't necessarily think he'll get the back. I think he might, like, go half guard. Yeah. Look to land some ground and pound and then look for, like, arm triangles or to jump or to fall back into a triangle. So, yeah, I think probably less likely that. But there is still an avenue that he could TKO him with a knee, kicks, elbows, anything like that. So, yeah, ITD feels fine. I think I'll probably play sub. I'm really confident that he submits him here. So, I'll be on Paddy by submission in some degree. It's like it's plus 150 in that range. I think that's a good price in a 5-round fight. Happy with that.
Yeah.
And that is UFC 324. We had a comment here from Justin Guys MMA. Keep grinding, boys. We will. You too as well. Thank you for tuning in. But other than that, that's UFC 324. So we'll go bottom to top, final picks, final bets, and then we will get out of here. So, first fight, Fugit, Miller. Who you got?
Miller.
Yeah, Miller. I think he finishes in late. 2-3, anywhere around there. Tercio, Smotherman.
Smotherman.
Yeah, turn the fight off. Go fucking stretch. Hockett, Freeman.
Hockett.
Yeah, I think Hockett probably squeezes this one out, but
Yeah.
God, the fade is coming.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
Johnson, Hernandez.
Johnson.
Yeah, I think Hernandez. I like unders. Under 2.5. Good look
Yeah.
here for me. Perez, Charles Johnson.
Charles Johnson.
Yeah, I like Charles Johnson too. I'm going to kill that guy if he fucking loses. Krylov, Bukauskas.
Bukauskas.
Yeah, Krylov for me. That's the one that we're going up against each other, so we'll see what happens. Gauthier, Pelayev.
Cortes.
Yeah, Gauthier wins.
Round 2, please.
Yeah, fight starts round 2 for you. Umar, Nurmagomedov, Figueiredo.
Umar handles business.
Yeah, I think so too. Submission. Alan, Silva.
I don't want to bark on camera, but...
Give us a bark, give us a
I'm
bark.
not barking.
Come on, one part. Yeah, I think June Silva probably finishes him. Silva, Namajunas.
Silva.
Yeah, double Silva. Waldo or Delu.
Waldo.
Yeah, your boy Waldo, the fat Dominican baseballer, goes. Honestly, he could have a title shot. Like, he might have one more fight and then title shot. He could even get title shot next, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that.
It's crazy. O'Malley, Yadong.
O'Malley.
Yeah, I think O'Malley gets a decision win. And Gaethje, Pimblett.
Pimblett.
Pimblett subs in round 1, round 2. Lock of the card, calling it.
Bang.
And that is UFC 324, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, it feels good to be back. It feels good to have bets on. It feels good to have another pay-per-view. Well, it is a pay-per-view for us technically in Australia. We still get fucked with pay-per-views, but another pay-per-view next week with UFC 325, Volkanovski versus Lopez. 2, the rematch. Keen for that one. If you haven't already, go follow Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times with a Z1. You can follow me at Provide Picks or at Dribble Sport. Instagram at Dribble Sport. Make sure you give it all a follow. Like, comment, share it with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't. Anything else, my friend?
Oh, mate, it was a pleasure doing this live
Yeah.
in studio.
Fuck yeah.
With you,
It's
mate.
been good, baby. We're in studio.
We've gone this far.
We should do these more often.
We will.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. Studio setup is good. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and good luck on your bets.